Welcome back, YouTube. My name is Nigel Schroeter, aka Mr. Don't Sleep on the Money, aka the Young King. And today we are here to talk about should you or should you not allow your child to get a GED as a parent. All right, so we're talking about parenting and the GED. So before you guys say, okay, this topic does not relate to finances, I'm going to say, for one, it very much does. For two, I'm going to tell you all my experiences, being that I am a GED um, instructor at a state college as well as a classroom teacher. So I see both sides as far as the GED programs, its benefits and its cons, as well as the traditional education system, its benefits and its cons. I'm going to give you guys the pros, the cons, and the alternatives to both systems that will allow you to make the best decision for your and your child's future. So let's start off. All right. This right here is going to be neither a pro nor a con. However, you make it whichever one you want to make it. All right. And this is the results that you get in a GED program are going to be based on your application and interest in the program. All right. This is neither pro nor con because there are some people who come into these programs and they want to get it. They want to get it done. They want to get it knocked out, and they zoom right through these programs and they're out in a couple weeks. Right. Then we have others who come into these programs and they're not really interested in being there. They may be there, because they're being forced. They may be there for a job. They may be there because of, parenting, our legal system, whatever it may be. The GED program may be forced on them and they may not want to be there. So if you're not interested in the GED program, just as if you're not interested in going to the public or traditional school system, you're not going to just magically get a GED. All right. Now, I'm going to go over the list of cons first. Then I'm going to go ahead, go into the list of pros. Then I'm going to give you guys a list of alternatives. So the first thing, and probably the most overlooked thing with the GED when we say, okay, I'm going to drop out and get a GED, is that there are age restrictions on the GED. And in most states, you cannot take the test until you're 18 or 19. However, there are a lot of states that offer age waivers, and by having an age waiver, you will actually be allowed to take the test before you turn 18. Typically, they allow those age waivers at the age of 16. And once you get those age waivers and you're allowed to take the test, then you'll be able to test. So there are restrictions to those age waivers. There are certain test scores that are required. There are certain things that you have to show the school district, and it is based upon your school district, not your education facility or your independent study, that's going to allow you to be able to take that test. Now, the next thing, you will actually be dealing with work that a lot of the times is harder than the work that you get in a traditional classroom setting. It just happens to be that standards are up to interpretation when you're dealing with your classroom teacher, whereas when you're dealing with the test, you're going up against the test. So you're going up against the standard itself. The next thing is your results are test based. So if you're a poor test taker in school, or if you don't like taking tests, or if you get test anxiety, then it's going to be harder to do the GED program because your diploma is going to depend on you passing those four tests. Now, the next thing for my list of cons is the GED stigma. All right. The GED stigma, there's a lot of people who have this stigma that, if you get a GED, that you're less intelligent or, this or that. And there's going to be all this stigma against the GED. So if you're someone who can't take the stigma and you care about other people's opinions and it bothers you, and it can cause you hindrance down the line, then don't put yourself through that stress of getting it. Certain colleges, they require you to actually go and get certain scores on the GED test in order to get admission into their college. And if you don't get those scores, then they don't want to admit you. Just as well as certain jobs may look at your GED differently than a high school diploma. They're not supposed to legally. However, there are instances where this does happen. So just be aware of that. Now, let's go on to the pros. All right. There is flexibility in doing your GED. You can study at home, self-paced. You can study in a center. A lot of programs are offered during the day. Usually there's an afternoon program. Usually there's an evening program. Because these programs are generally geared towards adults, you're going to have a lot more offerings for courses and scheduling. The next thing is your experience. Like we said, in the con section, you may have missed out on, certain things in high school. You may have missed out on certain high school experiences. However, now you're going to have a completely different classroom experience, which may be better or worse for you. Um, just as well as when it comes to work experience and things like that, because you'll have your diploma equivalency faster than your counterparts, you may be able to get certain jobs and get certain job experience or get into certain schools and get certain classroom experience and time down packed to get ahead of your classmates. Now, the next thing, you're going to have that head start, in a lot of instances. If you're doing this and you're driven and you plan to get out quickly and you're able to get out quickly, you're going to have a head start on your classmates. You're going to be able to get stuff done faster. Now, the next one, and this is one that I always bring up because it's extremely important, is resolving social issues. All right, so if you are a socially awkward person, if you don't get along well with others, if you're someone who is, being bullied or, mistreated in the public school system, then you have this opportunity now to either do independent study or study in, an adult ed classroom or somewhere else where you're choosing your classroom, your setting, and you don't have to worry about anyone, being rude to you, saying anything that they shouldn't say to you. You don't have to worry about anything negative. I've never walked into a GED classroom and got a negative vibe where, the teachers and the students didn't have a positive relationship or the students didn't have positive relationships with each other. Um, the next thing is you're going to be able to finish at your own pace in most instances. Like I said, you could be held up by the waiver, but for the most part, you finish at your own pace. So you're doing your studying and you're going to finish at your own pace. So once you get everything knocked out and you're ready to go, you're done, you're ready to go, you keep it moving. The next thing, and this is one that also gets overlooked a lot, is there's no fluff in the GED program. You're taking science, social studies, math, and English language arts. 4 sections of the test. Those are the 4 sections you study. You're not going to go to a PE class. You're not going to go to art. You're not going to go to photography. You're not going to have all these electives and other things. And without having these electives, it's very focused. So that's why a lot of people are able to pass and get out of these programs very quickly because, okay, well, I only have to study 4 things. Excuse me, but I don't need electives. So if I don't need electives, then guess what? I can go ahead and I can focus on these 4 core subjects. Knock out my hardest one first. Now I can focus on my easy one. Knock out my easy ones first. Now I only have to focus on my hard one, whatever it is, and you can get out a lot quicker, and you can be focused on your core content. Now, you know, for the parents that are still going to say, "Hey, I, you know, I just I don't like GEDs. I don't like the stigma. I don't want my child getting a GED." This is the section of this video for you. All right. If all of that still has not, resonated with you, let's talk about this part right here. Here's some other alternatives to the GED and or traditional school. So you can allow your child to do a technical school after school. If your child wants to do something where they're, obtaining skills, something hands on, and they know what they want to do, they want to be a mechanic or something like that, then hey, you know what? Hey, you still have to go to high school, you still have to go to traditional school. However, I'll allow you to go and take these additional courses. I know cosmetology, CNA, there's a lot of courses like that allow you to actually go while you're still in high school. So you can check those out. Those may be good options for you. The next thing, if they're worried about, money or finances or job experience or things to that nature, then hey, if you keep your grades up, I'll let you get a job. You can work before school, work after school, whatever. That'll allow you to keep some extra money in your pocket, or I'll incentivize you and give you money for this or that, and that may solve some problems. The next thing, online coursework. Here in Florida, we have Florida Virtual School. And depending on your county, you may have a county virtual school. And now I believe every state in the United States has their own virtual school. So take advantage of that and, do those virtual school courses. Um, those virtual school courses can allow you to do kind of the same thing you do with the GED. Knock out your classes quickly, focus on just a few of them, take, 3-4 classes at a time, knock them out quickly, go on to the next set of classes. The next thing is, depending on your state, you can do what is called dual or concurrent enrollment. Some states have what's called early admissions or early application, and it basically does the same thing. These programs allow you to enroll in high school, some states middle school, and college at the same exact time, so you can be knocking out your course requirements for the high school and the college, or the middle school and the college at the same time. All right, the next thing is, your child wants work experience, or they want to be able to build up experience in a certain field. Go ahead and, find a volunteer position for them. Allow them to volunteer at a hospital. Allow them to get a internship under someone, in a business office. Allow them to get an apprenticeship under someone, working in a technical field that they're interested in. Volunteering, internship, apprenticeships, all those things are going to be able to boost up your resume and show work experience. The next thing is charter or private school. So if your child does not socially fit in or mesh or blend with the kids at their public school, you can try changing their school around in the public school system. Typically, public schools are all pretty similar. However, there are certain schools that are slightly different. but also check out your charter schools. Sometimes your charter schools are more in tune with your community, and they allow your child to blend in and mesh better with other children that are going to be of similar socioeconomic backgrounds or demographics. So that's always an option there. And even with private school, do not rule it out. Check out your local private schools. They may offer scholarships or sponsorships, um, or they may offer other opportunities to those children to kind of seek out somewhere where they're going to fit in and feel better and be successful. So with that being said, this video was really just for you guys to get this knowledge and have a understanding of what you could potentially face both positively and negatively when you're trying to figure out what's going to be the best schooling method for you and your child. And there are so many different opportunities out there for you to check out. And if you have questions on any of them, please reach out to me. I am certified with SACS as well as the Florida Department of Education. Um, so I have a lot of knowledge on, education, both at the college level, regionally, as well as at the state level for colleges and the state and district level um, for the school system. I've worked in multiple school systems, taught multiple grades, taught adult education and GED, and so many other programs, summer camps, and at the end of the day, the most important thing is to make sure that you're choosing the right method for the right reasons that's going to allow for the advancement of your child and allow them to feel most comfortable, secure, and be their most successful, best self. All right. So, as always, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please, please, please make sure that you guys are watching these videos in this series. And I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.